Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is Wednesday, the 24th of March, 2021, and welcome to the 100 Pounders meeting of Overeaters Anonymous. I am delighted today to present ISKY, who is from Los Angeles. He originally came into OA as early as 2003. At his top weight, he was 415 pounds. He's currently down 150 pounds. He came back to OA the last time at the beginning of 2018 after multiple years in relapse, and he is going to tell you his story. And I'll leave it over to you, ISKY. And just to confirm, you've done the speaker release. If that's okay.
I will fill that out. Yeah.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Take it away, ISKY.
Hi, everybody. My name is ISKY. I'm a compulsive overeater. Thank you, Rita, for asking me to share the meeting. I will open with I get very nervous sharing, so forgive any pauses in my speech. And I'm grateful to be asked. So I just want to open with just some real brutal honesty about me and my condition. There's never, and I've said it before, there's never been anything in the world ever that has brought me as much bliss as food does. When I am eating massive amounts of food very fast, piling it down, regardless of the damage that it does and it has done, in that moment, the euphoria that it brings me is unlike anything I've ever had before. It's been better than any relationship, any sex, any travel, any money, anything at all. Like it is the one drug that was perfectly designed for making me high. And it's just something I just really need to remind myself every morning of how just fundamentally how screwed I am. So I'll just quickly, I have a couple of photos. I'll share them quickly, get it out of the way. And basically these are it's a quick list. It basically can show you the last 20 years of my life in the program, and you'll see ups and downs. Relapse is a big part of my story. Like I said, my top weight's about 415 pounds. I've had a number of times where I've been in OA where I've had abstinence. And when I'm on a roll, when I get back in, I am an excellent weight loser. I'm even more effective weight gainer, but nonetheless. So let me get this out of the way. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So this is just quickly. This is just, I'm going to do this real quickly. Just to show the last year. This is 2000. This is before coming into OA and one time. This is 2001. This is about 415 pounds, 400. Got into this is actually, I'm sorry, pre-OA. See, I'm already stammering. Pre-OA went on at the time in 2000, the Atkins diet, which was new and novel. I lost 150 pounds. So this is actually on my birthday in 2001. This was the first time I picked up pizza after a year and a half. This bite actually would be quite indicative of what was about to happen after this day. But this was also that day. This is about 150 pounds down. Cut to 2003. After eating that, my allergy was triggered, took everything back. So this is, who knows, another 415 pounds. This is 2004, I believe. Came back to OA, so 2004, came back to OA in around 2005-06, got a sponsor, started working a program, steps and everything like that. And again, this is about 165 pounds. So that's 2007. Relapse, as I tend to do. That's another picture, 2007. Look at that cute puppy. 2008, boom, just like that. Take the food back, all the will goes back. I say, fuck the meetings, everybody in it. Anyway, 2008, this is now 2010. 2012, another bout back in OA, great. And then this is now 2014. And this is actually 2017. This is right before me coming back this last time. Okay, I'm going to stop share. And you all see me again, yes? Fantastic. So, I'll start at the beginning. I was always I love food as long as I can remember. As a young kid, I was a fat kid. I had my earliest memories, even in grade school. I remember having to, my mother would buy clothes for me in the adult section. We'd actually, after buying clothes for like a school season, we'd actually go to a tailor, and she would have a tailor tailor the pants for me because I was buying like adult pants, but they were too long because I was a smaller kid and they had to shorten them. I remember being the youngest kid having a gym membership. If I recall correctly, my dad, who's a physician, actually had to write a note allowing me to go to it because I was under a young age. I was in multiple weight programs in young grade school. My father, who was a physician, at one point hired a personal nutritionist to come visit me every day, not every day, a couple times a week after school, and we'd walk around and she'd tell me about sugar and how candy bars are bad and things like that. On summer vacations, I used to be sent to fat camps. I've been to 3 of them. If anybody's in California and ever went to any of the fat camps in San Diego, message me. I'm always looking for some alumni. But I would spend my summers there, and I'd go and I'd have obviously a period of weight loss and come back. Never really knew what was going on. I just knew that I loved to eat. I knew that it made me happy. I am an only child. I'm an adopted child, and I'd go to therapists because I think my parents thought like, oh, maybe it has something to do with this, and maybe some trauma or some things like that. That's not the case. I am a compulsive addict of food. So all of this, by the way, all of this stuff with my before story, I find it horribly boring. I mean, we all have our stories about how much we've eaten and everything like that. I think the relevant takeaway for me is what it did to me as a person, the kind of person it made me, which I'll get into. I never felt enough. I didn't think people liked me, and it was because I was fat, and I always felt like a piece of shit. And so the personality that developed for me was of a complete people pleaser. I wanted to be the funny guy. I wanted to be the smart guy. And I'm pretty good with technology and tech and everything like that. And I'd love to be that guy for you, right? If this was the early like internet age, I was the guy that would build your website. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to help you, right? I got a cracked copy of Photoshop and I'll use it. So it was that I was, always available to anybody, because I think fundamentally you're not going to like me for myself. So I got to be useful to you. I got to be funny to you. I got to be like that. So you need a ride to the airport. As soon as I was driving, you got it. It was especially important for me to get attention from girls, and girls didn't like me. So I was especially, a bit of a people pleaser like that. What can I do? Be over nice, be helpful, yada yada yada. I'm sure a lot of, maybe at least some of you relate to that. And that was the case. I survived grade school and high school being kind of like the nice guy, the funny guy, the resourceful guy, the guy who would do stuff for you. When I actually got the ability to have my own license, driver's license, and drive, that's really when I came into my own as a compulsive overeater, because I had the nights to myself. So in high school, living with my parents, I would go out in the evening, and everybody that's in Los Angeles, there's a strip of Sepulveda Boulevard, and my evenings would be, I would stop at the top of Sepulveda at the first drive-in. It would be a Jack in the Box, and I'd be buying $10, $20 worth of food, and I just would start binging, and I'd be binging on it as I was driving to the next stop, which was In-N-Out Burger, which we have here. Be eating more, to Arby's, to Carl's Jr. And those were my evenings, and I was listening to talk radio, and I was putting on massive amounts of weight. I was letting food go all over my body, and that was my life. And I knew, I was always aware of how horrible I felt and how my clothes were getting tight, but it didn't matter. In that moment, it made me feel good. And even though I was going to hate myself in the morning for this moment. Oh, thank you very much. I'm already rambling. So that's really, those were my nightly things. I would hide food because I lived at home. I used to, I remember leaving the house with big Ziploc bags. So at night, I would go and buy like 2 large pizzas. Before the internet, you could order it. And if I had any left over, I would stuff it into the Ziploc bags and then hide it underneath the car seats. So there would be no trace of it when I went back home. So I could hide the food so my parents couldn't see it. When I was living alone, living in an apartment with a roommate, I used to do anything I could to all sorts of tricks to, we've all been through the drive-through and we pretend like we're ordering for like 10 people, right? Like be like, yeah, I'll have this, and like, oh, do you want something else, right? Hold that bullshit. But I was living with somebody. I used to take my Amazon boxes when Amazon come and I would stuff my binge food into the Amazon box. So when I came back to my apartment, my roommate thought that I was just, oh, I got something in the mail, but really I had it loaded with food. Really resourceful things like that. I absolutely hated myself. I was pre-eating with any kind of arrangements with friends. We'd go out to dinner, but I would have a meal beforehand, anything to do to protect it. Anyway, let me get going. Came into OA, a few false starts at the beginning of 2000, but really came in around 2005, and started working with a sponsor and working on a program, and it was great. And I found a food plan that worked for me. Turns out I'm particularly intolerant of flour and sugar, which seems to be common with 100-pounders, and started doing the work. Lost 150 pounds, as I do, and I felt great. And mind you, the next part of the story is I will be relapsing in a year and a half. But so so I'm doing this, and I basically think that I am working a strong program because I have a sponsor, but really on reflection now coming in, what was I doing? I was basically working a diet with kind of just basic group support of my fellows. I really was not working a strong program. What was happening is I was so built up and feeling so good by the weight loss and the comments I'm getting. I lose a whole bunch of weight. I feel good. I can wear normal clothes. I'm not buying clothes that are big and tall anymore. Girls seem to be liking me a little bit now. Like, all these things are great. Like, I've won. I have fucking done it. Like, this is it. I'm never going back. Like, it's a whole completely different life. I used to break tables. I was at a wedding and broke a chair, and the chair legs went into the grass, and that kept it from falling apart. All sorts of things. I've been had to leave a Magic Mountain ride because the roller coaster thing wouldn't close on me. And by the way, when that happens, you don't get to go out the same way. You have to walk back through it's just a nightmare. But I thought I had won. But really what was happening was I was basically, like I said, just doing the diet with group support. Oh my God, this share. I must sound crazy right now. But what I think is I really wasn't dealing with any of the fundamental issues going on. No doubt about it. The allergy model is true for me. When sugar and flour goes into my bloodstream, I am owned. It's over. It really does not matter what level of recovery I have. Just as for me, not, and I know that not all of us are affected that way, but when it is that I am owned, I am under the control of a new master, and I cannot stop eating. I cannot stop eating. Unbelievable amounts of food. So just quickly on the relapse, I wasn't dealing with any of the underlying issues, and how I kind of equate to it is that there's this like cauldron that was over my head, and everything that I wasn't dealing with, any financial things I wasn't dealing with, any people, any good friends of mine in my life that I let go because I'd gained weight and didn't want them to see me, all of that just was, I was just deferring it. I'll deal with that later. And basically all of those things was just piling up in this cauldron over my head. And one day that cauldron spilled over, and all the shit that I wasn't dealing with just showered over my head, and I broke my abstinence. And it started very simple. It was just, it was after a meal. I was coming back from something, and I just started eating some more things, all abstinent food, by the way. And I remember I took this breath, and I felt like I just took the deepest breath I've ever taken in my life. And I just felt elated. Like, oh my God, I forgot how good that felt. And I remember I went home, and I was kind of scared. I'm like, oh Jesus, like, is everything, am I gonna screw all of this up? And I'm like, you know what? Don't, just calm down. You're still working a program. You're down at this point, 160 pounds. Everything still fits. It's all good. Go to bed. And I did. Woke up at 2 a.m. thinking I'm thirsty, that I needed a Diet Coke, as you do at 2:30 in the morning. Said, I will drive to Carl's Jr., which is a fast food chain in California, and get a Diet Coke. And I did. And I also got two, I don't know if we talk about food, two of the really big burger things, and I ate them so fast, and I felt great. I remember getting out of the car when I got back home, and I was actually giddy, like I was high. I felt lightheaded. There's so much sugar and magic pumping through my brains and like that. I didn't realize that I was owned, right? Because the next day you wake up and you're still down 165 pounds and people still like you. And then so you do it again, or I do it again. I can just go back. You know what you're doing. Just get back on, you just get back on track. Have your little fun. Do it again. Do it again. It's only after about a week for me that I realized, oh, I can't stop. No matter what, I realized I'm fucked. I am owned. Anyway, it was rapid. It was rapid. All of the weight came back on. And around this time, this was the period of time where I damaged most of the relationships in my life, because I was gaining weight at such a rate that if you saw me 2 weeks ago, I'm already up 15, 20 pounds. And that's bullshit, right? Because if you're looking at me, if any of you see me on camera, you ever been when you gain weight and your friends are looking at you in the eye, and then they do that, where they glance down and they know your stomach? That look to me was death. I'd rather die than have my friends go, oh, hey, ISKY, how are you? And look down like that, boom. So I just started cutting people out of my life. I started not returning phone calls. And by the way, this damage still lasts till today. There's many relationships or close relationships that I permanently damaged just by completely cutting people off. Not because I didn't like them, but I was so ashamed of my weight gain that it's like, I'm just simply not going to see people. Maybe if I can get my weight back off, I'll call them and apologize and do that. A lot of damage I've had to fix over these years. I've been picked up by an ambulance twice in my life. During this time of relapse, I've been picked up by an ambulance coming right off of the freeway. I was picked up. I binged so hard that I was gonna burst, and I was having breathing trouble. And it didn't make a difference. I've heard people have shares where, they hit these bottom, and you read in the big book, the Bill Wilson moment where he falls to his knees and the light comes through the town hospital. And I've not had that experience. I want to have that experience. It makes for an amazing share. And I wish I had a good story like that, but my story is I would go deeper and deeper and deeper. So let me get quickly to one of these last defining moments. I think this was roughly around in 2017. It's probably about a half a year back. I was absolutely in the food. By the way, let me just say one other thing, just to clarify how much of a shit I am. I lost both of my parents within 7 months in 2013, and they both passed, unfortunately, of cancer, and not in the best way. Obviously, that was an emotional thing for me, but I want you to know that in my mind, I absolutely said, I can eat now, and I don't have to feel ashamed this time. Like, I can actually call these friends again now, right? Because if ISKY gains 150 pounds, they're not going to be whispering.
20 minutes.
Yeah, they're not going to be whispering, ISKY's a piece of shit. They're going to be like, oh, his parents died, right? So it's okay. And that's where it's at. I want to use a tragedy as an excuse to eat and feel good about myself for doing it. Because why wouldn't I gain 150 pounds if I lose both my parents, right? It's a perfect thing. Sorry. Let me get to, so roughly 2017, it was one of the worst days of my eating. And it had started in the morning, massive amounts of foods, probably, I don't know, 15,000 calorie a day, who knows, but it had been eating solid throughout the entire day and into the evening. And the last meals, I had ordered some pizza. It was probably 2 large pizzas with a whole bunch of things after eating multiple times at 7-Eleven and all these things. So anyway, it gets to this evening where I finally blew it. I finally did. I went too hard, and I was having trouble breathing. And by the way, I like that too. I like that feeling of, right, being so stuffed, but it was too much. It was, and I was doing it, and my heart had started pumping, and I felt like there was an existential threat happening right now to my life. And I remember getting into bed and just thinking, like, please just let me, I feel like I'm gonna die. Please, I don't want to die. This is not how I want to go out. I don't want someone to find me and see all those pizza boxes in the living room. Please, not this way. And I then I felt a warmth on my leg, and I realized that I had started pissing myself. I'd become incontinent, and I didn't even realize it. But I guess, as later was told to me, that I had so distended my stomach that it pushed against my bladder. And anyway, I remember being able to get up, cleaning myself up, and putting out an extra bowl of food for my dog, because I didn't think I was going to wake up. And eventually 911 came, and whatever, I'm alive. I did it. So this, and I remember waking up the next morning alive. I was so happy. I was in so much pain. I was obviously going to the bathroom multiple times. And this was it. So this was supposedly going to be my Bill Wilson part. The sky was bluer, the grass was greener. I was so happy. I made it. I lived. I did not die, unless this is all a dream. And I'm like, it changes now. It's over. Fuck this. You know what I did? I know how I lost weight before. Do it again. Shut up. Eat what you eat that you know works, and do it. This game is over. You're a grown man. Stop it. And I believe that. And I believed it. And I was a changed man that entire day. I'm like, this game is over. And that night, around 8 o'clock, I called Pizza Hut. Boom, 2 large pizzas. Come on. And I remember the delivery guy, my buddy, brought me some extra dipping sauce because I was such a good tipper. And that's it. And that's why I knew I'm so hopelessly fucked. And that it didn't change anything. I was back in the food. This is around the time that the suicidal thoughts were coming in, and I was never actively suicidal, anything like that. It was more passively suicidal in the sense that, like, I'm not going to try to kill myself, but if I do get hit by a car, big deal. You know, it's just that thing. Is like, if this is really what it's like, if this is what it's going to be every day, I'm just not interested in participating. I have a great life, you know, but I'm like, if this is what's gonna be in my head all the time, where I'm gonna be fighting like this, I'm just not interested in playing the game. So cut to, it was at the beginning of 2018 that I managed to make my way back to Overeaters Anonymous. It happened to coincide with the OA birthday party. I don't know why. I don't know why I got a brief period of abstinence. I want to say it was from hitting a bottom, but that's not true. There wasn't anything that happened that day that I didn't know. I didn't learn some new shit. I didn't learn about like carbs and protein. Like, it was not like, oh, it's the sugar. No, it was nothing like that. For whatever reason, I was given just a bit of grace where, like, I'm like, okay, I'll go back. Let me go see what's going on over here. And that's why, like, I can't describe it as anything other than a gift. It was just a gift where I was given a window of time where I could just stop overeating for a little bit. And all the most I could do is say, like, let me just jump in that window. Who knows what's going to happen, but let me just kind of jump in. So I came back in 2018. I got a sponsor. I got one of the hardest sponsors in my circle that I could think of, and who I had experience with before, and started working a program. So what were some of the things I wanted to do? Is I wanted to have a very clear-cut abstinence. There's really no gray areas in my abstinence. I don't eat any white or wheat flour. I don't eat any sugar unless it's naturally occurring in the thing, right? So there's sugar and broccoli, I eat that, but I don't have any added sugar, blah, blah, blah. And the other things were, I had to make some things around the behavior. So I can't eat in a rapid, fast way anymore. I can't eat, you know, I say, like, even if I'm eating just chicken and broccoli, but I'm eating it at 2 a.m. in my car, in a parking lot, in a 7-Eleven, that would be a break of abstinence. Even though it's clean food, the behavior around it would be a break of abstinence. Why? Because for me, and for me alone, that's very sexy behavior to me. I like that. I like closing the blinds and doing that kind of. So I try with my sponsor, formulated this abstinence that would allow me to abstain from the allergic food and abstain from the compulsive behaviors that are going to trigger the obsession, blah, blah, blah. And I do that. So I have a few minutes left, right? Timer, 5. About.
You have 3.5 minutes.
Oh my goodness! See, I knew it. I was going to spend too much time on the floor, but I worked the steps with a sponsor now. I report my food to him after I eat it, and he has me do a certain amount of writing, which I send to him in an email. And I am in a close communication with a group of fellow men, and we follow this thing which they call sober eating. And this time around, like, why is it different this time? This time around, I'm really actually working the steps, really going through the big book, really doing like an inventory, learning about myself, that all these other problems, it's all the same thing. It's like I'm a broken record. It's like a movie that I've been viewing for 46. It's like, oh, I get triggered by this and that and feel less than. And all of these things, you know, to the best of my ability, I'm trying to work on the daily, and I am not perfect at it. Like I said, I'm keeping the 150 pounds off, but you know, like other people, it's gotten harder. It's gotten harder in this last year. This is the longest amount of time, a continuous amount of time where I've been keeping the weight off. But you know, the COVID and the lockdowns, it did have a toll on me. You know, me just being left to my mind, it's not a good thing. You know, where I am right now with my sponsor, we're currently in the 8th step. I do speak with him. I go to meetings with these men's groups. We meet additionally twice a week, just separately with that. And I'm in touch with these men throughout the day. And having this accountability seems to make a really big difference. I'm always looking for a way to get out of here. I'm looking for a way to have an escape plan. I want to be free of it. And as I was talking to my sponsor this morning, it's one of the things I have to do. Like my step one is when I wake up in the morning, I kind of like look at myself in the mirror. I mean, if I do anything right, it's like, I say like, who am I today? You know, ISKY, am I a guy that just simply needs a food plan? Do I just simply need to know how to eat chicken and broccoli and shut up? Or am I a guy that is fundamentally fucked, right? Am I fucked? Sorry about my language. And if I can remember that, if I can center myself with that, I think I'll get another day of abstinence, right? A day at a time, right? If I get back into my head and think that like I'm just a guy that just needs to find the right way of eating, that's it. And again, I'll be honest, there's times where it that slips back, which is why I have to keep being in this kind of daily step one. I don't have any closing, so I'm going to end there. Hope that was interesting or helpful to anybody. And thank you so much for letting me share. Thank you, Rita, for asking me.
ISKY, thanks so much for being here.